Howdy everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Tom Arnold and John Cartwright to give our predictions on the upcoming PlayStation stream video. They didn't really call it a thing, it's just the future of gaming, where they're going to be showcasing a bunch of PlayStation 5 games for the first time, and it's going to be going for basically an hour, maybe even more than an hour, according to this. We don't know exactly, but yeah, we have something PlayStation 5 related, and we're going to be seeing games, which is kind of interesting that we're seeing the games before even the system itself. Like, we still have not gotten that system reveal yet. But, John, how are you feeling on this?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the slow drip feed, right? That they started with the controller, there's the Unreal Engine 5 showcase, then the games, and I guess the console will follow after that. I think it makes sense, because there's not much going on in the world right now, so why not just sort of slowly drip feed things out? I mean, that's how Xbox is doing it as well. But I am excited to see these games, specifically because they are PlayStation 5 games coming this year, rather than just these multi-platform games that we saw in the Series X showcase. So this has the potential to be interesting, especially because I trust Sony's first party quite well. And on the PlayStation 4 reveal event, they revealed Knack, so you know that the stakes are high with this.
Yeah, we're in for the good stuff now. How are you feeling, Tom?
Well, it's going to be good to see games that just come out this year. And I think Sony will have the advantage of kind of learning over Microsoft's mistake, if I can put that in quotes, for their showcase, for maybe tailoring it more for what people want. But at the same time, it's only games this year, so you won't get those super exciting games that are, off in the future. And even though you can't play them for potentially 2 to 4 years, you won't have that dangling carrot.
Yeah, I guess for the most part, I guess this seems to be like it'll be the launch lineup, which should be interesting. It's fascinating to me that for a launch lineup, they have an hour's worth of time, unless they treat this kind of like a E3 press conference where it's just like a little bit of focus with each game and get a little bit in there. I mean, let's be honest, if Madden doesn't show up during this, I'll be shocked.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all if a lot of games just get a big chunk of time. Like, I can see them giving a certain game, like some big game, like a 15-minute demo.
Knack 3.
And exactly, Knack 3 showcase what the PlayStation 5 can do and how many parts Knack comes in now. But I think it'll be interesting to handle it that way, because with the Series X showcase, it was trailer, and usually I like that setup, but when you're showing a next-gen console, I don't think glorifying these edits is the best way to show what games can do. I think we need that raw gameplay, and hopefully at least one game gives us that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they show actual advantages to PS5, and they're going to be like, you see that narrow passageway there? Now, normally on PS4, we would go through that, but no, now we're going to turn to the left this wide open area and go to the next level. Something like that.
Yeah, we have like Final Fantasy VII Part 1, no squeezing edition.
Yeah,
no exclusive squeezing. PlayStation 5.
I mean, they did talk about, when they were first kind of talking about the PlayStation 5 and how much faster it loads, they were showing off the load time comparison for Spider-Man. And I'll be honest, I wonder if we're going to be either getting enhanced on PlayStation 5 or ports to PlayStation 5 for a lot of the big PS4 titles. Like, could we at launch see ports of Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima? Like, could we see stuff like that? Or would they hold off on those type of ports to hype you up for a launch?
I'm not going to say they wouldn't do that, but I think it would be a bad look, because Series X has confirmed that basically it's going to remaster all your old games for free. Like, if you put in Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox, it's going to upscale it to 4K. And I think they've also said that some games are even going to get frame rate improvements as well. So it sounds like what Series X is doing is just basically giving you these automatic remasters. And I think if PS5 were to do the same thing, that would look really good. If they were to sell you the games again, that wouldn't be a great selling point for them.
Unless they did like a combo pack, was like PlayStation 4 stars or something like that, and just like, all right, here you go. Here's like this thing of like all of our classics repackaged onto the PS5 all together, so you have a bunch of games and just can see the difference, that type of thing.
So that's a good point, though. Like, I was thinking they'd have more sort of definitive edition remasters for a few titles just to get them ready at launch, but considering that Xbox angle, unless they were like a huge upgrade with some new content, it would not look good buying them for $50 or $60 again. I would guess maybe at least one or two big titles though, and some smaller ones that, on the knack level.
I'll make the prediction that I think remasters are kind of done for this generation. With the focus on backwards compatibility, I'm not sure we'll be seeing games from the last generation just brought over in a higher resolution. Because that seems to be done at a system level now, rather than having to go through and completely remaster all these games. I don't think re-releases are going to stop, but I don't think we're going to have quite the same trickle like we did in PlayStation 4, where the entirety of that first year was just remasters. I don't think that's going to happen again.
No, I think it's going to lessen up a little bit. We'll see, maybe not stuff from PS3 to PS4 to PS5, but maybe more PS3 or PS2 remasters. I don't know why I got in my head. I guess I'll start with my first prediction. I wonder, I don't know this, of course, don't know anything for sure, but for some reason I could see them doing an Eco remaster. Because we had the Last Guardian, we had all that stuff for the Shadow of the Colossus, and those are great games, but Eco's still pretty good too, and I think I could really be a showcase for a PS5 remaster.
Absolutely, yeah. Eco gets done dirty these days because it's a brilliant game, but people always flock to Shadow of the Colossus, and while I prefer that game, Eco is just so beautiful. It could really shine with a proper facelift. And I think it was Blue Point who did Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 4. And I have mixed feelings on how they converted the art style, but there's no denying that it's a beautiful game. And yeah, I'd love to see them update Eco in the same way.
Yeah, I think that'd be a nice, low-key, more artsy kind of game that you put in there rather than, not a huge headliner, but still, hey, check this out, this is pretty cool.
This isn't really a prediction, it's more just bringing up a rumour that's been going around for a while, but there's been a rumour that Blue Point are remastering Demon's Souls, and they have hinted at this on Twitter by basically saying that they've basically got their biggest game yet that they're doing. And again, I don't think it'll be a remaster, I think this is more a remake along the lines of Shadow of the Colossus, but it would be fascinating to come back to Demon's Souls, because I think that's one of the Souls games that few people have really played, because it was a PS3 exclusive. But it plays very differently to the other Dark Souls games, because this is level-based rather than being an interconnected world. So seeing this sort of remaster for PlayStation 5, I don't know what they would do, because the point of PlayStation 5 right now is there's no load times, but this is a very segmented game, so I'm not sure how they're really going to enhance it apart from just giving it prettier visuals.
Yeah, give it that facelift, or I'm not sure, because Demon's Souls is actually the only one I have played of those Souls games. But then I got stuck on, I think it was the mine level, and it just it got screwed up somehow. I've always meant to go back and play it because I was enjoying what I was playing, but it just screwed me over, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. But that would be really cool. What kind of game could you see coming or being announced, Tom?
Secretly, I would love for a new SSX snowboarding game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at the time, being an extreme sports game, that was over the top. We know usually EA is there in some capacity for Sony and Xbox, and they did have Madden kind of already on Xbox. Does that mean maybe there's some exclusivity there for them showing it? And maybe they have to show a different game on PlayStation 5. But if there's something new, and I put new in quotes because it's not new, but something unique, I would love to see something along the lines of an EA big game, even though that doesn't really exist anymore. Now, It's been a long time since something for Horizon. I wonder at this point, could they have worked enough on something like Horizon 2 to get it out in time, something of that scale, because obviously Naughty Dog, they're just finishing Last of Us 2. With the Kojima Studios, they did pump a lot of money into that studio. I think it still might be too early, definitely, for our game to come out this year, because I would guess they'd want a bigger scope. So I would look to something like Horizon 2 at this point, in terms of a big game.
That feels like a good bet. With Horizon as well, they recently they announced there's a PC port coming, so it feels like they're trying to spread the word of the first game, and they're kind of done with it on the PlayStation platform. So I could definitely see a sequel coming. Whether it's going to be year one, that's the question. I don't know about that.
Man, if they that would be kind of like having Zelda, like the Breath of the Wild for PlayStation 5 right off the bat.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty big get.
One major thing I want to see with Horizon 2 is just better face animation, because it's great most of the time, but when you're just talking to an NPC, it feels very robotic. And I just want to see that look a little better. But otherwise, the first game's just gorgeous.
I still need to play it. Is the face animation comparable to the Final Fantasy VII NPCs?
Yeah, I'd say it's similar.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got an idea of what you're talking about. Eesh.
Is the face animation comparable to the Halo CE Anniversary Edition?
Maybe.
Oh goodness! Well, I got a wild prediction for you, and I think it will. If it happens, I think is one, it's great timing. Two, I think it makes a lot of sense and would get people really hyped up for it. But Activision, of course, has been doing very well with Crash, and we've gotten the whole collection. We've gotten Crash Team Racing. This might be the perfect opportunity to throw out a brand new Crash Bandicoot game. Now that they've kind of brought him back with these remasters. Here's something brand new in a similar style to the first game, and boom, launch title for PS5. And like exclusive for like 6 months.
Wow. PlayStation launching with Crash. That sort of synergy hasn't happened in a very long time.
Yeah, right?
That'd be such a statement.
That'd be awesome. I'd love if they could pull that off.
Yeah, get his megaphone out, and a little sign or whatever to hold up in front of Nintendo's building. Do that again.
You know what would be cool as well is if they just like got rid of a world map and had levels just sort of seamlessly blend into each other. Like there'd be some kind of cutaway or some sort of transition to give you a break, but levels just sort of seamlessly keep going without ever loading. I think that would be quite a cool showcase.
Like if you just kept running for a bit and maybe the stats for the previous level showed up briefly and then they faded out and you just kept going.
Sure. Like Sonic in Sonic 3 when he transitions to another zone.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I think they did something similar with Crash Twin Sanity. Of course, that was a more 3D open game for it. So they've had that kind of ambition in the past, but I'm not sure if that's what they'll go for with a brand new game, because they seem pretty focused on that classic Crash gameplay, even though people do like Twin Sanity for what it is. But maybe that more Banjo-Kazooie or Tooie method where they're going around, you can explore an area but then go into the next area and have those type of levels. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but I do think it would be very much a statement to have Crash at launch for PlayStation 5.
I think that's probably the biggest prediction we could have. Like that's the biggest game they could get. It's so inviting to people of all ages, and if I saw Crash on a next-gen system, I'd need it. I'd need it immediately.
Yeah. What's your next prediction, John?
I'm going to say the thing that I'm sure we're all thinking, the entire audience is thinking. If they launch PlayStation 5 without Gravity Rush 3, then this system's going to fail. I'd really love to see Gravity Rush 3, because I think it'd be a great statement that Sony is more than just God of War and Uncharted. Because I feel like lately they've moved away from their smaller franchises. We very rarely see Parappa the Rapper. We very rarely see just these smaller Sony IPs. And I think it would be really great to bring Gravity Rush back. Not only because I love this franchise, but also I think it could showcase the possibilities of PlayStation 5 extremely well. Like in Gravity Rush 2, they gave Cat some more gravity powers. But what if we had a power that makes a shift at hyperspeed, where you can just go to the other side of the map almost instantly, just like rushing through everything? I think you could really showcase the loading possibilities and the speed of what PlayStation 5 can process, just with these amazing gravity powers.
Yeah, that's a good point. So basically you're saying without Gravity Rush, PlayStation 5 falls back down to Earth.
Exactly. It's just physics, Tom.
Yeah.
The point of that, that feature about zooming through levels could kind of be like was in Dreams, where if you want to quickly move through the map, you see something in the distance and you click it. Like if you do something like that for something miles away, that'd be pretty impressive.
Yes. That'd be amazing. It'd be like fast travel without opening a menu.
Oh, that'd be wild.
Yeah.
I've yet to play the Gravity Rush series. I've always mean to. I have them, but I just haven't found the time to sit down and play them. There's a lot of PlayStation games that it's like, man, I've heard really good things, but just haven't gotten through them yet. So yeah, it makes it a little tougher because to predict these type of things. But Tom, show me up. What else would you predict for this showcase?
Okay, well, we were talking about no remasters earlier, but that was for recent remasters, and we know they're pretty much probably based off the producers Wink working on a new God of War. But that would be further off. What if they remastered kind of like the earlier God of Wars again for PlayStation 5 graphics, just to get something out there for the launch window? Would that be something people still want to play at this point?
That's a good question. I think God of War might have moved on. There's still a lot of value in those games, of course, but I don't know if that's what they want the brand to be anymore.
That's a good point, John.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's the God of War franchise, upon its original releases, is very much of its time. I'm not sure if going back, you can still have fun, absolutely, but I'm not sure if it's something that would be get as much attention as like the new God of War got, for example, and how different it is. And some people do miss that original gameplay, so it's hard to say. That's a bit of a coin flip.
Like, if you've got like 3 of them in one package, it might be a bit more enticing compared to just like one, for instance.
Sure, they remastered God of War 3 alone on PlayStation 4, so to get them all, like including the PSP ones as well, that would be pretty cool.
I mean, they had that God of War 3 remaster made no sense on PlayStation 4 because on PlayStation 3 they had a collection of all the games, including the PSP ones and God of War 3. So,
oh god,
yeah, it was just not a good value at all. Is so weird, but that's the big question. I don't know if they'd go back to that sort of style.
But speaking of older remasters, if they could do something like maybe Jack and Daxter, I'd be up for that.
But actually, speaking of that, of old other PlayStation platformers, let's be honest, Ape Escape needs some love.
Yes.
Whether we get a remaster of all 3 games or a brand new entry, that'd be pretty cool. And Ape Escape is usually pretty good about showcasing new tech, so use Ape Escape to work that into the platforming and do something fun with the tech.
5,000 monkeys on screen at once.
Yes, let's do it.
We haven't had an Ape Escape game that uses a modern controller. Like, they could use motion, they could use the touchpad, some new features of the DualSense. Like, one thing I keep forgetting about is the DualSense has those triggers which basically adjust the pressure on the fly depending on what you're doing. That could apply really well to Ape Escape.
Oh yeah, that would be a perfect thing. You could do so many interesting things with the tools that you get in that game and the monkey capturing abilities. That'd be... I don't know, I want to see it.
Alright, my next prediction. So, in the last state of play, well, I think it might have been the last state of play. So, the one that announced Resident Evil 3 at the end of last year. I think there's been a few since then. But they kind of made a stance there that it's okay to announce Capcom games there, just in their own little space, which is something we don't usually see outside of E3. So, I feel like with the rumors of Resident Evil Village being Resident Evil 8 out there in the open, I think we could see that here. It'll be pretty big, and I think the rumours for AM4 Village was that it was going to be on PS4, I think. But this could be an interesting chance to make it a cross-gen title, and maybe have it launch with the PlayStation 5. Like, we know Resident Evil 3 was done by the B team, so it'd be interesting to see what that core team's doing right now. And I'd also be interesting to see what direction they go in, because 2 and 3 were very back to the behind the shoulder roots that 4, 5 and 6 had, but with more of a horror focus. Would they go back to a first person perspective for 8 though?
Depends if you're playing Ethan, because I can see them just keeping Ethan, since he really wasn't meant to be seen that much, out of the camera.
I think the rumor was that you play as Ethan again. But I'm really curious what they can do though, because Jill Valentine, the model for her in Resident Evil 3, looks just beautiful. I don't think I've seen a better character model in a game. It's stunning what they can do with that. So to go on to the next generation of hardware, it's going to be fascinating. Our RE engine already runs at 60 FPS. It's a really flexible engine. What more do you get out of that?
I don't know. You know what I'd like to see out of it? I know it's probably not going to happen because this franchise is it's basically dead at this point for Capcom. I still want it. Wouldn't it be awesome if we got that same sort of thing, except for Dino Crisis? behind the shoulder, fighting the dinosaurs. I don't know. There'd be something so cool and kind of terrifying about it. I think that kind of style would work really well.
This makes me wonder as well, is VR coming back? Because Resident Evil 7 being first person was kind of the showrunner for VR. It was definitely what was pushing PlayStation VR at the time. And I think they've announced that PlayStation VR from the PS4 is going to work on PS5. But are they going to do another VR headset?
I would love to see another VR headset, and I was kind of thinking about it. But I'm hoping they just kind of announce that the previous headset will be compatible with PlayStation 5. I'm thinking that if they announce a brand new headset with a brand new system, people will start thinking of the price tag. And so maybe something a year out after launch is when they'd announce a new headset. Unless they sort of shift gears internally and really want a VR focus. But, I'd be all for it, but I think just the price tag will stop that.
We've got to be done with PlayStation Move controllers by now, though, right? Those things are so old now.
Yeah, we could see VR stuff. I was actually just looking over the PlayStation blog, and they do mention how studios, both larger and smaller, those newer and more established, have been hard at work developing games. So what kind of, we've been talking about big games and a lot of first-party or at least big third-party stuff. What kind of smaller game do you think we might see on here? Or what studio might put something on here, I guess is the better way to put it.
That's a tough one to predict. I don't even know if they'll show I don't even know if they'll show indies here. Maybe they'll have some ambitious indies, but I think this is their chance to make a great first impression with PlayStation 5. And they probably want all their big showrunners here instead of some smaller games, but as you say, they do specify smaller games, so I don't know.
Normally it's that game company they fall back on, but they've done stuff for Apple recently. I wonder if maybe the guys behind or Heartbeast or some of the team that split off from that for the game that escapes my mind at the moment, unfortunately. But if one of those teams might be working on something very ambitious with 3D graphics that would be on a next-gen console. Because, they were pretty ambitious before, although in pixel art, could they be tackling 3D at this point?
You could see something more experimental, like we get people enjoy Heave-Ho and snipper clips on the Switch. So maybe this be a good opportunity to have, Loco Roco be something similar.
And PS4 did launch with Resogun, which was really Reso fun. So if they do something like that again, that'd be great. Loco Roco is a great call. Parappa the Rapper, I'd love for that to come back.
I think it'd be really cool if they actually consulted, with some actual rappers like that. Actually, because, rappers at this time have to be fans of Parappa at that point, or maybe not, I don't know. But it would be kind of cool to get some rappers, having fun with this, or, working in the jokes or figuring out something or helping with the music. And maybe update Parappa a little bit. I don't know.
Get some cameos in there too. Just get some really serious rappers just rapping about, going to the bathroom like in Parappa the Rapper, whatever else is going on.
we do we could have a literal Snoop Dogg.
He would be fitting for that game, and he would probably actually do it. So.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he would. I remember people talking about Parappa all the time and just how much they enjoyed it. So. There's a lot of franchises that Sony really could revive and do something cool and fun with on PlayStation 5. And I think that's more of the allure than, here's God of War 2 or something like that.
It did feel like there was a lot of IPs missing out in the last generation. We didn't get Jak and Daxter. We haven't got Jak and Daxter in a long time now. But there's just these smaller franchises.
Naughty Dog moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just these smaller franchises are just gone now. It'd be great to see a new Legend of Dragoon or something like that.
Man, Legend of Dragoon given the Final Fantasy VII Remake treatment. Wouldn't that be wild?
Just give me something that's not a gritty, super violent, mature game. Give me some sort of cartoony game too, please. Is just what I'm asking for.
I did have a prediction about that, Tom. It's not a Sony game, but we know that Sega have been delaying and postponing a Sonic announcement. And I wonder, is this the best place to get eyes on it? Because they were going to do South by Southwest, and then that was postponed because of the virus. And they started the year saying every month there'd be Sonic news, but that was more or less cancelled as well. So I wonder, like, is this the best chance for them to properly showcase what the next Sonic's going to be?
That might be it. It would be it would cover basically the platformer aspect of the system for sure, and Sonic, I'd say from the Dreamcast, has always kind of been more of a tech-based product, or could benefit from it, so I would say that's a good bet.
I just had a bad idea.
Oh,
it's a great idea, but a bad idea. So the PlayStation 5 eliminates load times. What better time to bring back Sonic 06?
Oh God! See, I was thinking, I guess something similar, but not quite that. Wouldn't this again? You want to get people hyped and get people ready for next gen, or sell them on the PlayStation 5, or at least get Sonic fans sold on the PlayStation 5. Sonic Adventure remake.
It's a no-brainer. It's got to happen at some point, right?
It has to. It makes so much sense.
Whales.
And Sega taking this extra time. Maybe they're just biding their time and being ready for it. I forget when the next anniversary is going to be. I'm not sure if it's 2 years from now or just one. But come on, it makes sense. And people would, if it looks good and runs well and expands and just has this aspect to it that people want and love. He'll sell so many Sonic fans onto the PlayStation 5, especially if they, of course, bring back Chow Garden or expand it. Online Chow races, being able to actually compete with your Chow online with the PlayStation 5. Yeah, that would do some sales.
The trailer just needs to be the Chow Garden. It doesn't need to show Sonic. We don't need to see Big the Cat. We just need to see the Chow Garden.
Just zoomed in real close, and all of a sudden the Chow pops through some grass or something. I want to see a new game by the creators of Rez.
Oh yeah, just something crazy.
Yeah, something outlandish out there. Looks like a crazy visualizer or something, but will play amazing and have great music. That's what I want to see. Mm-hmm. Ash can get that Rez suit compatibility, so he can just stay in that game forever.
Perfect.
It becomes hard to keep predicting PlayStation 5 games, because I think the biggest thing is with these console reveals, it's the perfect time to announce new IPs.
Mm-hmm.
I just show what the next gen can do without being tethered to the past. I think we're going to get quite a few new IPs, and I think that's kind of a prediction, I suppose, that we're going to see just a bunch of new stuff rather than bring back all these other franchises that we already know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a mix of old and new would be really good to see. I think that'd be great to have here's this new thing you can check out, but also here's this old thing. We're accommodating everybody. We're looking to remembering the past and pushing forward to the future type idea. It's been a while since we've seen the new Tales game, so I wonder if that could show up here.
Yeah, it looked ambitious. It looked very different to the previous Tales games. I could see it happen. I suppose the one thing holding all these games back is, are they all going to be 2020 games?
Yeah, good point. That's definitely the harder choice right now, and I don't know. It's hard not to go a little ambitious when they do say it's going to go for a bit more than an hour. So
yeah,
I don't know. Depends on how long these segments are.
When I first heard about PlayStation 5, one of my first thoughts was, of course, Spider-Man 2 is going to be a thing, but is it going to be at this event? It might be too early, but at the same time, Spider-Man is one of the biggest PlayStation 4 games, one of the biggest franchises in the world. So you know they're doing a sequel. No one's going to be surprised when they announce a sequel, but it's just, when are we going to see it?
It might be one of those things like teaser at the end.
Maybe,
not right away, but 2021, and have Spider-Man. Certainly amazing. People would certainly be for it, and considering who they kind of hint at in Spider-Man for a potential next villain, they could definitely do some things to get people excited for that with their kind of teasers and whatnot.
They can just show how much detail was in a web.
Oh yeah, perfect. Put Spider-Man in his boxers again.
With something like Spider-Man, I guess they have been obviously working on different tech for seeing how that would be on a new PlayStation based off sort of their showing up porting off the old one to it. Mm-hmm. And the teams are working from home right now, so maybe they could be aiming for this, but have the possibility of slipping back to March or something, that fiscal year window, and some of these titles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people would understand it was delayed. It's like, well, sorry guys, we're working from home,
Yeah, that does make sense. So it's hard to say how much that'll affect things, but it seems like Sony's mostly pushing forward.
They could use that excuse and show a game that's like 4 years off. And be like, well, it could slip.
Could slip, but hey, isn't this hype?
Kojima promised this year, guys. It's on him.
But, well, do we have any other predictions? Because I'm basically getting topped out because I could say old franchise after a while, but I think you're right, John, that they will sort of push that idea. I do think we'll get a little bit of representation from every genre. We'll see sports games, we'll see racing games, we'll see shooters, we'll see platformers, we'll see adventure games, all that stuff. JRPGs.
Oh yeah, did somebody say Gran Turismo?
We didn't, but that makes a lot of sense.
There you go, Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gran Turismo kind of missed out this gen. I know we had GT Sport, but it didn't have the same splash as the previous Gran Turismo games.
I kind of forgot GT Sport was a thing.
Yeah, maybe a smaller scale Gran Turismo for launch that, with the promise of like a bigger one later.
Yeah, well, like they did on PlayStation 3 with the prologue of 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did do that. Maybe. I don't know. I've never been... The only Gran Turismo I played was 3, and never really came back to it because I kind of got my fill. I prefer arcadey racers, so a Burnout or something like that really shows off those destructible cars, that'd be exciting for me, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
From a Sony perspective too, like Motorstorm could come back.
Oh yeah, Motorstorm.
Oh, that would be amazing with the mud physics and stuff like that that they could do now.
Yeah, like you can feel the different terrain in the controller as well.
Maybe. I mean, that's the thing. This should be pretty exciting. Could it also end up being a dud? Hard to say. But hopefully with it being over an hour long, it's entertaining and keeps our interest.
I have faith.
Yeah.
I have a lot more faith than the Xbox Series X reveal.
So, any other last-minute predictions?
I predict we will not learn the price, we will not learn the release date, we will just learn games.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see the console either, so this is just expect pure games.
I predict another amazing house marquee game that will be smaller scale, even though they're working on bigger ones, and it'll be the best game at launch.
That's a safe bet.
There you go. All right. Well, I think that covers it for our Sony event, PS5 event predictions discussion. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And of course, make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on PlayStation and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.